All right, in this section, we're going to go over some kind of miscellaneous final things to help wrap up the presentation today. First, I want to talk to you about our radios. You should note you'll see two different types of radios. Most of them are the small orange style. They're a really simple operation. There's two buttons. The first dial is the volume and power. You'll hear it beep. The green light will flash and it'll tell you what channel you're on. The second selector here will change channels. We only have two channels for adaptive. Channel 2 is our channel to talk on. Channel 1 is Mountain Ops. So this is the channel we'll go to if we need to call Ski Patrol. Otherwise, we should always be on channel 2. Our other radios you're going to see are a much taller, longer radio. They're all black and they have a little display. It'll tell you what channel you're on in the display. It won't tell you with a voice like these, but you'll be able to read it on the display. To use the radio, there's a button labeled PTT that's push to talk. You want to push that down and hold it. You're gonna, call whoever you're trying to reach to. You're gonna say their name first and who's calling. So if I was gonna call the VL for today, we'll say Mark is VL. I'm gonna push the button. I'm gonna say Mark from Nate, and then I'm gonna wait for him to respond. The reason we do it that way is if I say Mark's name, hopefully he catches that, oh, somebody's calling me, he's gonna start listening. If I were to say Nate to Mark, he might miss who's calling, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, I think I heard my name, but he's not really paying attention yet. So always use their name first. It just helps them get a heads up that they need to pay attention. They'll acknowledge that they're listening, and then you can give your message. Radios can be really tricky on Canon. The reception isn't always good. That's why we encourage everyone to put their VL and Ski Patrol numbers in their phones. So that way, worst case scenario, you take your cell phone out and you can make notification. Super important that we keep language appropriate on the radios. We have our licensed channel, but we're not supposed to have any kind of swears on any radio frequencies. You never know who's listening, so only use them if it's important. They're not here to play with. Some of our participants really like them. We can use them as motivation, but it doesn't mean we should have everybody just chit-chatting on them. I want to talk really quick about lift line etiquette. This year more than ever, this is going to be super important. As always, we want to stop our lessons before we're in the lift line. This year, the mountain will have some type of designation for spacing that we'll need to follow. So we're going to stop really far back of the lift, make our changes, and then get into the line. We'll still have access to the ski school line like we always do. So that will hopefully facilitate getting through quickly. We'll still have our same hand signals at the lift. So we have a stop, a slow, and full speed. Every time we come into that lift line, we should be communicating with the liftee as to what we want. And that's, whether it's day one of the season or the last day of the season, we don't want the liftees to just assume what you're looking for because it may change as your lesson progresses. So always touch base. I like to do that with a hand and verbal at the lift load. And then obviously on the unload, it has to be a hand signal. Make sure that they see you. The sunlight on the top of Tucker Brook can often make it very difficult to see them. But really make sure you get that communication. That's super important. And finally, as always, and this year this is probably more important than ever, always be respectful and courteous of other employees and guests of the mountain. We are representing not only Adaptive Sports Partners, but we're also representing Cannon Mountain. And so any interaction we have with the other guests and staff should be as courteous as possible. If you have some type of run-in with someone else, keep that to yourself. Don't respond back. You can come in, advise the VL or staff person that there was an issue, and we'll bring that to the mountain. There's an appropriate manner for that to be done, but don't get into an argument or some type of altercation with them. This is that time to be the bigger person and represent the mountain and the program well, and then let that be handled elsewhere. We expect that there will be, frustrations this year due to all the COVID changes. We just need to be really mindful about that. Everybody's going to be stressed and frustrated about coming in and getting out on the slopes. So take that breath, calm down, and then back away and let someone else handle that. How we'll respond to an incident if one should happen. First, we'll talk about if there's a severe injury or illness. wherever we are on the mountain, the first thing we want you to do is to use your radio to call ski patrol. You'll also notice the number for ski patrol on the whiteboard or on the TV screen will be listed, and the VL for that day's cell phone will be listed. When you call ski patrol, we want you to have a couple pieces of information in mind. Importantly, where you are, what's going on. Ski patrol might want some information like, are they conscious? Are they breathing? Be prepared to give them that type of information. The lead from the lesson is going to stay with that participant, while the assist is going to come back to the grotto to get any family or caregivers, CIs, and assist them to ski patrol, which is in the Notch View building. Once ski patrol gets there, they'll take over all care. While you're waiting for ski patrol, if you feel comfortable providing some first aid, that's up to the volunteer. Provide whatever care you're comfortable with. This year specifically for COVID, if they're having a respiratory issue in nature, we want everybody to be even further away. And CPR is, I think this year more than ever, a very personal decision on your comfort level, but if you are going to provide any type of CPR, hands only CPR will be done. Obviously, if there's first aid incident, we'll have gloves, the mask on, eye protection, all need to be in place before rendering any first aid. Once ski patrol's been notified, please switch your radio to channel 2, the adaptive channel, and talk with the VL. The volunteer leader of that day or staff person is supposed to stop their lesson immediately. That may mean having to get them into the grotto and then respond out to the incident. So they could be delayed depending on if they have a lesson currently, and they'll come out to help assist. If we have a minor injury, something we feel like we can handle, please immediately notify the VL. Again, they're going to cancel their lesson, get them in safely, and then respond out. If we determine that the lesson can be done or continued and finished safely, we may have them ski in. If it's something like a behavioral incident where they're not going to ski, or we've broken a piece of ski equipment, we will respond out with the tandem if available and help get them back in under our own power. Obviously, if there's an incident, we have to complete the appropriate report. So the person that is the lead of the lesson must complete the incident report form, and anyone else on the lesson must complete the witness portion. So just kind of what you see, what was done. Everybody in their jacket will have a little Ziploc bag with basic first aid, some Band-Aids, gloves. There's a yellow card in here that has all of the VL's numbers, radio procedures. It's all listed there. Just real simple first aid stuff. When you come in, if you've been assigned a jacket, it'll be your responsibility to make sure that this kit is up to date and stocked. When you check in the morning, make sure that you let the person checking you in, typically that'll be an AVL, that you need something, they'll find the supplies for you and help get it restocked. If you have a concussion, make sure that we follow the concussion protocol. Those are in our forms. If someone has a seizure, that's kind of a complex one for us. Anyone with a seizure disorder should have a seizure action plan. So we'll have that available to review. If it seems like one of their kind of typical everyday seizures where we're not worried about a major medical issue, we may bring them in if they have caregivers here, or maybe a ski patrol call. It will depend, it'll vary based on the participant. That is information you'll have prior to going out with them. That'll be part of their packet. So look for that.